Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Wednesday, February 16th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out. Talking about the injuries in play for tonight's slate is an 11-game slate. Overall for the main slate is a very large slate tonight, and then going over my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for tonight's slate as well. Just keep in mind that these are the picks early on today. There's 11 games, so there's probably going to be some things changing throughout the day as well. So definitely be sure you're checking up on the updated core about a half hour prior to lock as well. But without further ado, we'll get into a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out. So on the DraftKings side, at point guard, we had Tyus Jones, $3,200, look for 16 points out. There was no John Morant last night. He ended up with 44.25, so he was a hit. If you stayed on Trae Young earlier on the day, he had over 60 points at his $9,300 price tag, so he was a very good play as well. If you were lucky enough to play both in your lineup last night, you probably did pretty well. Unfortunately, when I switched to Tyus Jones, I threw in Luka Doncic in, and he just didn't have quite the best night, but that's a whole nother story for a different day. Then at shooting guard, we had Terrence Mann, $4,600, had been in the starting lineup playing big minutes and playing rather well. 23 points is what we were looking for out of him. He got to 12.25. He was a miss last night. Not a very good day for him by any means. 1 for 6 shooting from the field. Just a very, very down game for him. Then at small forward, we had Lance Stevenson, $4,000. Expected him to be in the starting lineup. He was not, but he still got to 20 points, which was exactly what we were looking for out of him, despite coming off the bench. So didn't hurt us by any means. Still a hit regardless. Then his teammate Oshai Brissett, in that starting lineup, they started Jalen Smith and Goga as well. So kind of hurt his upside in terms of rebounds and stuff like that too. He only ended up playing 27 minutes in this game. He had been playing over 30 before that. 2 for 8 for shooting from the field, so he only got 12 points. We were looking for 27 out of him, so just kind of unfortunate that he did not pan out yesterday. And then Clint Capella at the reduced price tag of $5,300, a guy that I like quite a bit. We were looking for 26, 27 points out. He got to 21.25, so he was a mess. Only 2 for 5 shooting from the field. Just didn't do a whole heck of a lot, honestly. So just an unfortunate day for Clint Capella yesterday. So kind of down day on the DraftKings side. You know, a pretty good hit in Tyus Jones. If you stayed on Trae Young, you did pretty well in that regard. But just some of these other guys that we were counting on that had been playing pretty well, or rather well lately, just didn't quite pan out yesterday. Then on the FanDuel side, we had Tyus Jones once again at the point guard position, $3,800, looking for 19 points out. He got to 42.7, so he was a hit. Shooting guard, we switched over to Buddy Hield, obviously. Reggie Bullock, who was my guy early on in the day, ended up not playing yesterday. But for Buddy Hield, we were looking for 30 points out of him at $6,000. He got to 44.4, I believe the best game he's had so far this season, so he was a hit. And then at small forward, Terrence Mann, $6,000, looking for 30 points out. He got to 14.1. He was a miss. Like I mentioned, on the DraftKings side, just not a good day for him overall. Only 1 for 6 shooting from the field. Then at power forward, we had Jared Allen, $7,400, looking for 37 points out. He got 28.4. He was a miss. It was just kind of Evan Mobley day yesterday. Kevin Love shot the ball a little bit better off the bench, so it just really impacted Jared Allen. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it works out sometimes with Cleveland. If one guy goes off or 2 of the guys do pretty well, then the third guy just doesn't do quite as well. So he looked pretty good going in the day, just didn't quite end up getting there yesterday. And then last but not least, we had Jonas Valanciunas, $6,700, looking for 33, 34 points out. He got 28.3. He was a miss. He only played 27 minutes and really just scored the ball. I think he only had like 4 rebounds in this game, so really low total for him there. If he gets a couple more rebounds, he would have paid off at his price tag. So a really hit or miss day on both sides. Still was able to kind of salvage my day on the FanDuel side and did pretty well there. Unfortunately, I didn't keep Trae Young in on the DraftKings side, though, so that's really what hurt me. Hopefully you guys were able to keep him in, though. But with that being said, we'll get moved into the injuries and play for tonight's slate. So as I mentioned, once again, it is an 11-game slate. We have one lone island game starting at 7 o'clock, and that's the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic. The Hawks are without John Collins, and the Magic are without Markelle Fultz, RJ Hampton, Jonathan Isaac, and Mo Wagner. So no changes there for either team at this point in time. Then we move over to the 7:30 slate of games, and we start off with the Detroit Pistons, who were without Frank Jackson, Isaiah Livers. Pickett's a game-time decision, but not in the rotation either way. Then for the Boston Celtics, Robert Williams, who ended up missing last night, is questionable due to a calf injury, and Marcus Smart ended up hurting his ankle last night. He is questionable to play, but I do not expect him to play, so look for Derek White to be starting at point guard tonight. Then for the Washington Wizards, they're without Daniel Gafford and Kristaps Porzingis. Rui Hachimura, also dealing with an ankle injury, is questionable to play once again tonight. So we'll see if he's in there or not. If he's not, maybe we get a couple extra minutes for Thomas Bryant tonight. Then for the Pacers, they're without Chris Duarte, TJ McConnell, Miles Turner, and TJ Warren. Malcolm Brogdon still listed as questionable to play. I don't know if he's ever going to play, at least until after the All-Star break. It doesn't make sense to play him, especially with how bad their team's been playing anyways. Honestly, I think they're better off shutting him down, but that's a whole other story for a different day. And then Isaiah Jackson listed as questionable to play. He's been dealing with an ankle injury, so we'll see if he plays or not. If he does end up playing, it hurts guys like Jalen Smith, Goga Batadze. Then we move down to the Brooklyn Nets, who are without Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. So pretty much the same thing we saw out of them the last time out. We'll see if they keep the same starting lineup or if they decide to switch it up a little bit tonight. For the New York Knicks, they're without RJ Barrett, Nerlens Noel, and Derrick Rose. So pretty much the same thing we saw the last time out of them. Then we move down to the Sacramento Kings, who are without Terrence Davis, and then Jeremy Lamb, listed as questionable to play, has missed the past couple of games. For the Chicago Bulls, they're without Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, and Patrick Williams, and then Javonte Green, listed as questionable to play, but he did end up playing the last time out. For the Toronto Raptors, we have Fred VanVleet, questionable once again. Obviously, if he doesn't play, Gary Trent looks a lot better. If he does end up playing, then pretty much the same thing we see out of a normal Raptors team. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards is questionable to play. He injured his ankle as well last night. And then McKinley Wright, questionable to play, but not really in the rotation either way. For the San Antonio Spurs, they have Trey Jones listed as doubtful to play tonight, so he's unlikely to play. Otherwise, pretty much all the way healthy. And then for the Oklahoma State Thunder, they're without Lou Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Ty Jerome, Mike Muscala, Jerome Robinson Earl, and Kenrich Williams. So there could be a little bit of value on this team overall. Maybe we see a couple extra minutes for guys like Teo Maledon and Povashevsky. Maybe somebody else enters the rotation. We'll just have to see. Mainly Josh Giddey and Darius Bazley probably going to be the two ones that I'm looking at on tonight's slate for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Moving down to the Trailblazers, they're without Eric Bledsoe, Keon Johnson, Damian Lillard, Didi Lozada, and Dennis Smith Jr., so the exact same as the last time out. Memphis Grizzlies are without Dylan Brooks once again. Then we have John Morant, Yves Pons, and Xavier Tillman. All this is questionable. I did think John Morant was going to play last night. He ended up not playing. He's still questionable today, so I'm leaning a little bit more towards him being out tonight since he did end up missing last night, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up playing either. Then for the Houston Rockets, they're without Usman Garuba and John Wall, so same thing we've been seeing from them lately. Phoenix Suns without Frank Kaminsky, Cam Payne, Dario Saric, and Landry Shamet, so the exact same as last time out. For the Denver Nuggets, they're without Kankar, Murray, and Porter once again, and then Zeke Naji and Monty Morris, both listed as questionable to play, both ended up missing the last time out. For the Golden State Warriors, they're without Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, and James Wiseman, so no changes there. Then we move down to the Utah Jazz, who were without Rudy Gay, who did miss the last game as well. Obviously, Rudy Gobert returned the last time out, played limited minutes. We'll see if his minutes increase tonight. And then for the Lakers, we're there without Carmelo Anthony, Avery Bradley, Kendrick Nunn. LeBron James, technically questionable. I do assume that he ends up playing, and then Anthony Davis probable, which is pretty much what him and LeBron James are on most nights. So a pretty quick little rundown on the injuries in play for tonight's slate. Definitely going to be some ones that we're looking at throughout the day, whether it's Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, John Morant, LeBron James, etc., etc. So, but as that news does come out, I'll list it down in the comments. So definitely make sure you're checking up throughout the day and as we get closer to the lock. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So we're going to start off with the point guard position. I got Tyus Jones down as of right now, so I'm just going to assume John Morant's not playing since he didn't play last night. If that news does change throughout the day, then obviously this pick will change as well. So Tyus Jones is $3,100, looking for 16 points at him, averaging almost 20 on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 24 points. We have seen the upside that he can have as recently as last night with over 40 points. I would not expect that to be the norm, though. But still at $3,100, if you're getting 24 points at him, looking like a very, very solid play on tonight's slate overall. Then at shooting guard, we got Seth Curry, $5,700, looking for 29 points at him, averaging about 28 on the season so far. Brooklyn Nets, still no Kyrie Irving tonight since they are in New York. So Seth Curry, probably going to be the main guy on offense for them. Patty Mills hasn't been able to do it. Seth Curry's kind of just a better version of Patty Mills at this point in time, and probably a little bit better of a playmaker as well. So looking for about that 29 points. Currently I'm projected for 30 points tonight. Offers a little bit of upside for more as well. Then small forward, we're going right back to Justice Winslow, $6,000, looking for 30 points at him. Got him projected for 32 points tonight. He's been playing big minutes. He's been playing rather well, so why not play him once again? Then at power forward, we got Jalen Smith, $3,900. Ended up in that starting lineup last night. He got in foul trouble, but he still was over 20 points. So at $3,900, looking for 19, 20 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for 22 points tonight. Offers a little bit of upside for more. We'll see if he ends up in that starting lineup once again or not tonight. Then last but not least, at the center position, we got Darius Bazley, $6,500. Looking for 32, 33 points at him. Been over 40 like the last 3 games out. Goes against the San Antonio Spurs. Decent little matchup there. You know, he's essentially the second best player left on this Thunder team. They're very depleted at this point in time, so I would not be surprised if Darius Bazley has another nice night once again. Currently, I'm projected for 36 points tonight. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players I have listed here, you'll have $24,800 remaining, just under $8,300 per player. So you can definitely pay up for a stud if that's something you want to do, and then kind of go from there. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely something you can do on tonight's slate, as it is a very large slate. So there's going to be a lot of options there. There's a lot of good plays in the mid-range today too. So guys right around that $6,000, give or take $500 more, $500 less. That range is very, very fruitful on tonight's slate, especially on the DraftKings side. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So we're going to start off at the point guard position once again with Tyus Jones, $3,800, looking for 19 points out, averaging almost 20 on the season. As I mentioned before, on the DraftKings side, I don't know if John Morant's going to play tonight. I thought he was going to play last night and he didn't, so I'm just going to assume that he's out at this point in time. If he ends up playing, if we get that news, then obviously this is going to be a pick that changes throughout the day. But as of right now, Tyus Jones, looking for that 19, 20 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for about 24 points tonight. Definitely has some upside for more as we saw in last night's game. Then at shooting guard, we're going to Seth Curry once again, $5,700. Looking for 28, 29 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for 30 points once again. Everything I mentioned on the DraftKings side still applies. No Kyrie Irving tonight. Seth Curry just seems to be a better version of Patty Mills at this point in time. So probably going to be their best offensive weapon. Probably going to be their best playmaker as well. So Seth Curry looking pretty good once again tonight. Then at small forward, we're going back to Buddy Hield, $6,000, looking for 30 points at him. He's been very solid since he's joined the Pacers team. He's been playing monster minutes. 2 games ago was like 1 for 13 from 3. That's probably not going to happen once again. Obviously, we saw the monster game last night. So I do expect Buddy Hield to have a pretty nice night once again. And at $6,000, that's a very, very reasonable price tag for him tonight. Then at power forward, we're going to Darius Bazley, a little bit more expensive on the FanDuel side, $7,100, looking for 35, 36 points at him. Currently, I have him projected for 36 points tonight. He's been playing very well. Second best player that's left for the Thunder. I do expect him to have another solid game once again. Then last but not least, at the center position, we got Joseph Nurkic. He is $7,600, looking for 38 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for 39 points tonight. Could be an interesting matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies, but I think it's going to be one that he's going to be pretty successful in. He's been pretty consistent as of late. So Joseph Nurkic, definitely a decent little play on tonight's slate. Not super expensive, not super cheap, but just kind of that guy in the middle that looks pretty good overall once again tonight. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the FanDuel side, you have $29,800 remaining, just over $7,400 per player. So definitely a little bit of room to spend up for one stuff. That's something you want to do, or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's perfectly acceptable as well, especially on tonight's slate. There's a lot of guys in that mid-range, kind of like I talked about on the DraftKings side, that could definitely pay off more than their price tags at this point in time. But with that being said, these are my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, February 16th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's on DraftKings or FanDuel. Heck, if you want to talk a little bit of Super Draft, definitely down to talk some Super Draft as well. JC Money Design and myself will be going live right around 5 o'clock Central Time over on his channel, talk some Super Draft main slate. Definitely want to check that out if you're into Super Draft, if you're looking to learn more about Super Draft, or if you're looking to get into Super Draft Pro. If you're looking to get into Super Draft Pro at all, feel free to contact me, whether it's at my email, whether it's on Twitter at CoachCraigSports, and I'll help answer any questions you may have about that and help get you started in that regard as well, so you get some of the exclusive contests that they are offering on Super Draft on a daily basis. And then, as always, I'll be listing all the injury updates, COVID news, and starting lineups down in the comments below, as well as my updated core probably about an hour to a half hour prior to lock. If there's any other major changes between that time and lock, I'll also list that as well. That's kind of where we got that Tyus Jones change yesterday, because we got John Morant being ruled out probably about 20 minutes prior to lock. So definitely be sure you're checking up on that throughout the day. And especially as we get closer to lock, if you're checking about 20 minutes prior to lock, you're going to have the most news available as possible at that point in time. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams when fantasy football season is more intact. But going to be talking some dynasty, going to be talking some NFL draft prospects, going to be talking some NFL news, going to be talking some NBA news. Definitely going to have something going on all the time. So definitely be sure you're checking that out as well if that's something you're into. And then with that being said, if you're a newer current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.